If you're struggling to fall asleep, think twice before popping that Ambien or Xanax pill. Those medications can be habit-forming and cause memory loss, even brain damage. I'm Dr. Catherine Albrecht, and I'll have the details in a moment.
Privacy is under attack. When you give up data about yourself, you'll never get it back again. And once your privacy is gone, you'll find your freedoms will start to vanish too. So protect your rights, say no to surveillance, and keep your information to yourself. Privacy, it's worth hanging on to. This message is brought to you by StartPage.com, the private search engine alternative to Google, Yahoo, and Bing. Start over with StartPage.
Insomnia makes you tired, and anxiety makes you a nervous wreck. If you suffer from either one, your doctor may have suggested Ambien, Ativan, or Xanax. Those drugs, known as benzodiazepines, have serious side effects, including dependency, memory loss, and even dementia. Dr. Armin Neal, co-author of the book Are Your Prescriptions Killing You?, says those drugs can cause sleepwalking and even trigger mania and bipolar disorder. But if you think you're hooked, don't just quit cold turkey. Once your body gets used to benzodiazepines, quitting suddenly can cause permanent brain damage. It's better to taper off with the help of a doctor. I'm Dr. Catherine Albrecht for StartPage.com, the world's most private search engine. Attention air travelers. Before you book your next flight, be sure you don't get stuck in the worst seat on the plane. I'll give you a hint. It's near the back. I'm Dr. Catherine Albrecht, back with a tip from seasoned travelers after this.
Privacy is under attack. When you give up data about yourself, you'll never get it back again. And once your privacy is gone, you'll find your freedoms will start to vanish too. So protect your rights, say no to surveillance, and keep your information to yourself. Privacy, it's worth hanging on to. This message is brought to you by StartPage.com, the private search engine alternative to Google, Yahoo, and Bing. Start over with StartPage.
If you've flown lately, you know the skies can be far from friendly. There's baggage fees, jammed overhead bins, and shrinking legroom. And of course, choosing the right seat is always a challenge. But a survey of 1,000 flyers by Skyscanner, a flight comparison website, finds one seat is the absolute worst, 31E. It's a middle seat in the back, near the toilets. Of course, where there's a loser, there must be a winner, and that award goes to seat 6A. Why? Seasoned air travelers know the first few rows get to deplane first. Plus, 6A comes with a very nice window. Happy flying! I'm Dr. Catherine Albrecht for StartPage.com, the world's most private search engine.
You gonna do? Yeah. Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? When you were 8 and you had bad traits, you go to school and learn the golden rule. So why are you acting like a bloody fool? If you get hot, then you must get cool. Bad boys, what you gonna do? When they come for you, bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? You chuck it on that one, you chuck it on this one, you chuck it on your mother and you chuck it on your father, you chuck it on your brother and you chuck it on your sister, you chuck it on that one and you chuck it on me. Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Bad boys, what you gonna do?
All right, bad boys. What are you going to do when we come for you? Here on the Rule of Law, tonight is Thursday, January the 31st, 2013. It's hard to believe we've already blown through 1 month of the new year here, but we have. And indeed, this is the Logos Radio Network. You are listening at logosradionetwork.com is the live stream. We are blasting out on AM and FM affiliates all over the nation. We are in the midst of a fundraiser right now. We were going to close the fundraiser today, but we have had such overwhelming response to the giveaways that we've been offering that we have decided to extend the fundraiser, especially one of the main perks that we've got going on is the AR-15, the Rock River AR-15 that is being donated by Zombie Killers Ammo and Guns out of Corpus Christi, Texas. And we want to thank them very much. You can get more information about that at logosradionetwork.com. $20 donation is all it takes, and you will get your name put in the hat for the drawing. Every $20 will get your name in the hat another time. So you donate $100, you get your name in the hat 5 times. What can't beat a deal like that? Free AR-15, and of course, also second place prize is a lower receiver for an AR-15 that is being donated by Central Texas Gun Works right here in Austin, Texas. Same thing, same drawing. You got first place, a full AR-15 made by the Rock River Company. Second place is a lower receiver. You do have to go through the Form 4473 and do an FFL transfer. This is not a private deal. This is not a private sale or private giveaway or anything like that. This is being directly donated by these firearms dealers, and so you do have to go through the FFL transfer. But hey, lots of people have done it. Personally, I don't really care if the government knows I have guns. In fact, the more the better. The more people that have guns and the more the government knows about it, I think it's better because it's such a great deterrent. And of course, if you donate $50, you get a free gift card for Purium Health products. A $50 gift card, so it's like a 1-for-1. You're not really out anything. They make great supplements, great products. I just did a protein shake, and I'm feeling great. And also, you could, if you don't want a protein shake or any of the other Purium products, you could get a free Hewlett-Packard Light Scribe DVD burner. All right, these are all donated by the listeners. And so if you need a new DVD burner for your computer, it's for a PC, donate $50. For $75, you get a free 32-ounce bottle of colloidal silver or ionic silver produced by a Silver Lungs generator. So this is fresh stuff made by our very own Larry Wiest. He is the host of the brand new show on this network called God and Guns. That is from 1 to 3 p.m. every Saturday afternoon, Central Time. Of course, if you donate $150, you get a bottle of colloidal and a bottle of ionic silver. Now, folks, a small 4-ounce bottle of colloidal silver can run you like $40 at the health food store. This is a 32-ounce bottle of colloidal silver for $75. How can you beat a deal like that? And all the proceeds go to the fundraiser of Logos Radio Network. So, folks, please donate. Get your colloidal silver, get your ionic silver, protect your health, get your Purium Health products, upgrade your computer, get your DVD burner, and, of course, for every donation, you also get your name put in the hat for every $20. So, say you donate $80, you get your bottle of colloidal silver, and you get your name put in the hat 4 times for the grand prize of the Rock River AR-15. And, of course, second prize, you get the lower receiver. And you can build your own firearm. You can build a pistol, you can build a full-on AR-15, whatever you want. Now, keep in mind, you cannot sell these items, the AR-15 or the lower receiver, you cannot sell that for profit within 1 year without an FFL license. So that is the one stipulation, because this is an official FFL transfer. But with that being said, we are going now to one of my all-time favorite guests. He is going to rant and rail about gun rights, and that is our very own Mr. Michael Bad Boy Badnarik. Mr. Michael Badnarik, thank you and welcome to the show.
I love it. But what do you mean you can't sell for a year? Who would sell a gun?
Who would want to sell anything right now? I mean, I'm serious. This is the time to be getting while the getting is good. So, Michael, what do you think about the AR-15 giveaway? What awesome sponsors we have, huh?
That is awesome. It really is. I'm jealous. I wish I had cash to contribute. That's a really great. Those are great sponsors, and I love the name, Zombie Killers.
Zombie Killers. Absolutely.
Hey! I looked at when we did the show. He brought up his photo on the Skype, and he actually put a photo up of one of the zombies he killed.
Ah. You know, Randy, one of these days you're going to get me into more trouble than I can get myself out of.
What? Who, me?
You.
We had someone on last Friday talking about you.
Oh gosh, none of it was true.
Oh, we talked about you and we laughed and we laughed.
I wasn't there. It wasn't me. I don't know what he's talking about.
No, someone met you at a show somewhere and you had referred whoever it was to me for some reason, and he had some legal issues. And he listened to the show and he was pleased. He was happy with your reference, and I was
good.
Glad that I didn't make you look like a chump.
Well, I knew that you wouldn't do that. You're very good at what you do, and that's just one of the many reasons that we're friends for so long.
So, Michael, of course, the gun issue is the hot topic right now. It has been for several weeks. So we wanted to have you on. Actually, every Thursday, this is the fourth Thursday in a row that we have been discussing this gun issue. We've had our sponsors on the 2 weeks before that, and I forgot what went on the week before that. But every week for the last month, we have been talking about guns and Second Amendment and our right to bear arms and how the Constitution does not give us that right. We have that right regardless of what any piece of paper says and things like that. And last week, actually, we had Michael Cargill on. He's the owner of Central Texas Gun Works. And I don't know if you've heard what happened to him, but he is an FFL dealer, and he also offers classes. He offers beginner pistol classes, concealed handgun classes, and advanced pistol classes. Well, he has been doing business with a company called Groupon for quite a while now, and I'll just review for those of you who don't know, who didn't hear the story, or who don't know what Groupon is. Groupon is an online coupon service, okay? And so they call it Groupon, and it is nationwide, but it's also specific to your local area, and local businesses will participate and offer special deals. You can get almost anything on Groupon, deals at local restaurants, all kinds of things, car washes, concealed handgun classes, or at least you used to be able to, and then all of a sudden, a couple weeks ago, the CEO of Groupon just up and decided that he was not going to allow any more Groupon deals that had anything to do with guns at all. And now, keep in mind that this was not a policy that he decided to put in place for all future contracts at the time that he made this decision, which he has a right to do. It's his business. I don't agree with it, but he has a right to make that decision. But no, he went further than that. He decided that he was going to cancel all Groupons that were currently in progress that had anything to do with firearms. Well, Michael Cargill had a Groupon in progress. These Groupon deals have a time limit because they're generally such good deals, like 80% off of this or that for, it's only offered for like a week, okay? Well, he had a Groupon in progress for concealed handgun class, and then they just cancel it. Well, I'm sorry, but he doesn't have a right to do that because that's called breach of contract. That's a tort. That's a civil tort. And so now Michael is looking into suing Groupon for breach of contract over that. He's going to keep us posted on that. And he is calling for a boycott of Groupon right now, and not to give them a penny, not to, if you're a business owner, don't do business with them, to offer Groupons to try to bring in more business to your business. If you're a customer, don't get any deals from Groupon. Don't buy any coupons off of Groupon. And to call and harass them relentlessly. If you live in the Chicago area, which is where they're based out of, go to their offices. If you don't live in the Chicago area, send them faxes, call them, email them, send them letters, and just, if for all practical purposes, just make their lives a living nightmare over what they have done to Michael Cargill and over this decision in general. So, Michael, what do you think about that? What do you think about these companies that are like different banks and such that are canceling firearm dealers' bank accounts and all this? It's like a mafioso business where they are leaning on businesses that have anything to do with firearms. This kind of extrajudicial type of activity that is just pure thuggery to try to pressure people into not doing business that has anything to do with firearms. What do you think about that, Michael?
Well, you already know what I think about it, and I love it when you talk dirty, talking about torch, stuff like that. Yeah, this is, it's bad. Those people remind me of the tattletales in school. The people who would do anything the teacher said, when the teacher comes back in the room, they say, oh, Randy was talking while you were gone. They just tattletale and snitch. Well, the government wants to give us all to turn in our guns. And these private companies, like the guy from Groupon, like, oh, the government wants you to give up your guns, so we're not going to let you do that. We're just going to, cancel all these contracts. Well, it's like, yeah, I would do business with them anyway.
Right.
But I think it's a real good idea for, people to get together. Got to stand up.
All right, we'll be right.
Thought that I was doing well, but the truth to you I'll tell. MSGs and GMO really ain't the way to go. There's a better way I've seen. It's called tangerine, and we're all drinking tangy tangerine, tangy tangerine, tangy tangerine. We're all drinking tangy tangerine, tangy tangerine, tangy tangerine.
Order Beyond Tangy Tangerine and other great longevity products at LogosRadioNetwork.com by clicking on the Tangy Tangerine banner. Sign up as a preferred customer for wholesale prices or become a distributor and support LogosRadioNetwork.com. So what do you say, Elvis?
Thank you very much.
Are you being harassed by debt collectors with phone calls, letters, or even lawsuits? Stop debt collectors now with the Michael Miras Proven Method. Michael Miras has won 6 cases in federal court against debt collectors, and now you can win too. You'll get step-by-step instructions in plain English on how to win in court using federal civil rights statutes, what to do when contacted by phone, mail, or court summons, how to answer letters and phone calls, how to get debt collectors out of your credit report, how to turn the financial tables on them and make them pay you to go away. The Michael Miras Proven Method is the solution for how to stop debt collectors. Personal consultation is available as well. For more information, please visit ruleoflawradio.com and click on the blue Michael Miras banner or email michaelmiras@yahoo.com. That's ruleoflawradio.com or email michaelmiras@yahoo.com to learn how to stop debt collectors now.
You
You are listening to the Logos Radio Network. LogosRadioNetwork.com.
Look what we get.
Okay, folks, we are back. This is the Rule of Law on the Logos Radio Network. We are here with our very special guest and good friend, Mr. Michael Badnarik. We're going to be talking about the gun issues. If you have a question, you'd like to call and talk to Michael Badnarik, 512-646-1984. He will be with us until 9 o'clock for the next 40 minutes or so. And we are talking about Second Amendment issues, gun issues, this sort of thing. So if you have other general legal questions, please wait till after the top of the hour to call. But yeah, Michael, we've got a brand new show on the network here called God and Guns, hosted by Larry Wiest. It's an excellent show. His first show he had on a friend of his, a lady who ran off an intruder firing at him. He broke into her house in the middle of the night, and she heard the stirring around and the banging, and it was pitch black. And so she just opened her bedroom door and just started a firing. Okay, and she didn't wait to make eye contact. She said, "Hey, he didn't stop and think about it before he came in my house. So why should I stop and think about it before I start firing at him?" And so she fired, and it was a pistol. I forgot what kind of pistol it was, but it was a pistol that fired bullets. I think it was a .380 caliber. And so, of course, in the dark, she wasn't quite able to see. But she apparently did hit him because there was, like, blood and dripping blood, like, on the front porch going down the driveway. When the police arrived, they were able to take DNA samples. So, hey, I think it's great. People needed to be able to defend themselves. So, Michael, I just want to turn the floor over to you and just take it away. Tell us what you think about all this madness, talk about the gun grabbing and where it's all headed, and what should we do about it?
Well, first of all, I want to let all of your listeners know that because of the high price of ammunition these days, I can't afford a warning shot. So I want everybody to know that first bullet out of the barrel is going to be on target.
Good.
So, yeah, it is very, very sad. Is very sad what's going on in this country, that people are just not smart enough to see the forest for the trees. One of the things the government is trying to do is to disarm the population. And one of the reasons that we have seen throughout history is so that the government can eliminate large numbers of people. We're talking millions of people. If there are any of your listeners that have not seen the video called Innocence Betrayed, it's a video from Jews for the Preservation of Firearms Ownership, jpfo.org. That video is now available for free on the internet. Do not watch it before you go to bed, because you probably won't be able to go to bed. It's very disturbing. But it shows over and over and over again how many governments have disarmed the people, followed by almost immediately annihilating them, just eliminating them out of the country. And it's very terrifying. And I want to make sure that never happens in the United States. So, as Thomas Jefferson said, one of the primary reasons for the people to keep and bear arms is to protect themselves against tyranny and government. And we're not talking tyranny from Russia, tyranny from China. We're talking tyranny from Washington, D.C. Now, 2012 was pretty much the year of the mass shooting. I was really surprised because I didn't remember most of them until I started doing internet research to do an article, and there have been a lot. And when the shooting happened in Connecticut, even before they announced how many bodies, because they hadn't even gotten into the school yet, I was already cognizant of the fact that this shooting was going to generate all the anti-gun legislation, all of this talk. And they keep saying that this has resumed the gun debate, except that there's no debate. The government is planning to get rid of all the guns, get rid of all of your guns, take them away from you. And until that happens, they're going to continue to rant. And it's just not an option. I ask people, assuming that they were walking down a sidewalk someplace and someone started to choke them, what they were going to do about it. Every single person says that, they would defend themselves. Poke them in the eye, step on their foot, do something that would hopefully terminate the attack. Self-defense is an innate, DNA-encoded biological instinct. I challenge anybody. I will make a $10,000 wager that you cannot just stand there and let me choke you until you pass out. I mean, it violates your self-preservation instinct. So we have this biological self-preservation instinct, which, runs all the way into our DNA. And if you choose to defend yourself with a firearm, which is the only logical, rational, most effective way to do it, you have that right.
Well, now, wait a minute, Michael. There's a video out by some government entity. I forgot which one it was. Alex Jones was talking about it today, where I think it may even be Homeland Security video, where they're encouraging people to defend themselves with a pair of scissors if a gunman comes in. Now, isn't that good enough? The government says it is.
If you think that a pair of scissors is a sufficient defense, go for it. The Second Amendment doesn't say that you can't defend yourself with scissors. But back in the day when, women were worried about the rape that was happening, the government's response was to the women that you should lay there and try to enjoy it in order to reduce the chance of additional violence. Basically, the bottom line is we don't want the guy to beat you up too.
Yeah, whatever.
So, are you kidding? I am incensed by that. Are these police officers going to tell their wives, well, sweetheart, you just lay there and try to enjoy it?
Well, how about this? If somebody's robbing you, why don't you just stand there or sit there and enjoy it and just consider it a donation?
It's like, this is insane. And I cannot comprehend any law enforcement or any government individual actually saying that out loud. If a police officer told my girlfriend that she should lay there and just try to enjoy it, I would be in jail for beating the snot out of this police officer. Are you kidding me? That is an insult to everybody's intelligence. So, as we were talking earlier this evening, the first question is, do you think the government is going to come to its senses and back off of its gun confiscation program? Well, the answer is no.
Not.
They are sociopaths. They are never going to stop until they've got all the guns collected. They're just not going to quit, period. End of story. They won't give up.
No, don't you remember the big quote of Dianne Feinstein? Mr. and Mrs. America, turn them all in. If I'd had the votes, then I would have said that. Mr. and Mrs. America, turn them all in. But I just couldn't do it. No, and you never will either, because we're not going to turn them in. See, this is what these gun grabbers don't understand. We already have them. Okay?
Yeah, and we're not going to give them up. Okay, second question. second statement is that since the shooting in Connecticut, in the next 3 weeks, Americans purchased 10 million guns.
Yeah.
Now, I question that. I'm a scientist. That's a lot of hardware. And, I've had it confirmed over and over again. 10 million guns in 3 weeks?
And that's just what went through the NICS system. Imagine how many more were purchased through private sale.
Ah, man. So these people, most of them paid 2, sometimes 3 times what the standard amount was to make sure that they got their firearm. Now, is it rational to assume that people purchased 3 times the cost of a firearm so they could turn it in during the first confiscation?
I don't think so. We're going to break. We will be right back with Mr. Michael Badnarik.
This is Building 7, a 47-story skyscraper that fell on the afternoon of September 11th.
The government says that fire brought it down. However, 1,500 architects and engineers concluded it was a controlled demolition.
Over 6,000 of my fellow service members have given their lives.
And thousands of my fellow first responders are dying.
I'm not a conspiracy theorist.
I'm a structural engineer.
I'm a New York City correction officer.
I'm an Air Force pilot.
I'm a father who lost his son.
We're Americans, and we deserve the truth.
Go to rememberbuilding7.org today.
HempUSA.org has moved and expanded its operations for faster worldwide shipping. Our product line has grown from 5 to nearly 100 items in less than 5 years. Our food is grown naturally, always chemical-free, not found in stores. Great for daily intake and perfect for your emergency storage shelter. Call 908-691-2608 or visit HempUSA.org and see what our powder, seeds, and oil can do for you.
It is so enlightening to listen to 90.1 FM, but finding things on the internet isn't so easy, and neither is finding like-minded people to share it with.
Oh, well, I guess you haven't heard of Brave New Books then.
Brave New Books?
Yes, Brave New Books has all the books and DVDs you're looking for by authors like Alex Jones, Ron Paul, and G. Edward Griffin. They even stock Interfood, Berkey products, and Calvin soaps.
There's no way a place like that exists.
Go check it out for yourself. It's downtown at 1904 Guadalupe Street, just south of UT.
By UT, there's never anywhere to park down there.
Actually, they now offer a free hour of parking for paying customers at the 500 MLK parking facility, just behind the bookstore.
It does exist, but when are they open?
Monday through Saturday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and 1 to 6 p.m. on Sundays. So give them a call at 512-480-2503 or check out their events page at bravenewbookstore.com.
Live Free Speech Radio, LogosRadioNetwork.com.
Mr. Officer, you're taking the law in your hand. Won't you follow the law of the land?
Okay, folks, we are back. We are here with Mr. Michael Badnarik. We're taking your calls. If you'd like to ask Michael a question, 512-646-1984. We are on topic tonight about the gun issue, at least while Michael is on the line. If you have other legal questions, please wait until after the top of the hour. All right, we've got Benjamin in Texas. Benjamin, thank you for calling in. What is your question for Michael Badnarik?
Okay. Well, first, I'd kind of like to know who Michael is. I don't know who he is.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't give Michael a proper introduction. We've had him on so many times. Michael Badnarik was a Libertarian candidate for president in 2004, and he got quite a number of votes. He teaches a Constitution class, and he also wrote the book called Good to Be King, and it's about the fact that we are the kings and queens, not the government. So it's good to be king. So, Benjamin, you have a lot of background noise on your end. It sounds like you're in the middle of a tornado or something. So I've muted you now. I'm going to unmute you, but can you quickly ask your question, and then I'm going to have to let you go because there's too much noise on your end. What is your question?
Is there noise now?
It's much better, but go ahead, please.
Okay, I'm sorry. I was smoking a cigarette. Well, my question is I'm 22 years old, and, you know, the whole gun situation that I'm hearing about is kind of concerning because they've already taken assault rifles out of Dick's Sporting Goods and Walmart, and I'm a good citizen. You know, I have my guns for protection, and I value that. I value being able to go out and buy a gun and have it, knowing that I have it. If anybody crazy comes into my house or tries to harm my family, I have my gun. And so my concern is my generation growing up, what we're going to have to face.
Well, I think that things are going to happen very, very soon. As I was leading to, the government is not going to give up. The people are not going to give up their guns. The only rational conclusion is that there's going to be bloodshed. The immovable, force against the irresistible force, immovable object kind of a thing. And I think that's going to happen relatively soon. So if we survive long enough for your generation to grow up and be controlled, I think it's going to look a lot different than it does now.
Also wondering is, for the government just to come in and try and take everybody's gun seems not like something that they would do. It would seem like more of a biochemical type of thing, like through our water or some other way I guess what I'm wondering is, what they're trying to take the guns away, but I could go on the street right now and buy any kind of gun I want. It doesn't have to be in the store. So why is the whole focus on trying to take the guns away? It seems like there's
because they have to disarm the people before they can get rid of everybody. Okay, and they can wipe people out through the water or through the chemtrails, which they pretty much already are. But the thing is, they can't do that to everybody all at once, because some people will be onto it, and a lot of us have filters where we filter out these poisons out of our water. It will filter out their anthrax and whatever other bioweapon they want to put in the water. It will filter out heavy metals. It will filter out fluoride. It will filter out drugs like statins and lithium. So they're not going to be able to get everybody through the water. They're not going to be able to get everybody through the air either, because people have filters. Okay, so they have to disarm us if they want to implement their evil plan, because there's going to be quite a number of us that will survive their biochemical attack. We already are surviving it. All right, so I can answer that aspect of it. Michael, do you want to respond?
Well, people ask these questions as if the government is going to be doing things logically. And they're not. If you're anticipating a logical response, you are way off base. These people are sociopaths. They really don't care, and, they're planning to take the guns away. It happened in Germany. It's happened in so many countries that it's almost a routine. So I strongly recommend that you watch Innocence Betrayed and check out a little bit of history.
And also, I will add that going around and doing gun confiscation door to door is not really their style, because they know it's going to be too messy, because people are going to fight back and it's not going to work out for them very well. They want people to beg for their slavery. They want to convince people to turn them in. They want to do it boil the frog style. They want to do it through democracy. Okay, they want to do it through democracy to get the majority of the people to vote to take away the rights from the minority, which is one of the topics of Michael's book. Okay, to rally people who don't understand these concepts to be against us, to try to take our guns away from us. So, they're not going to be able to accomplish their evil plan unless they disarm us, because they won't be able to enslave us. They won't be able to control us. They won't be able to drag us off to their prison camps if we're armed. It's very simple. Even the government of China is encouraging and praising Obama for these measures and wanting more. So it's kind of we could talk about that all night, but does that at least partially answer your question, Benjamin?
Yeah, I could talk to you guys all night. Thank you so much.
Okay, Benjamin.
Thank you, Benjamin.
Thank you.
Okay, have a good night.
All right, you too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. And yeah, we were talking on the break about the answer to these mass shootings. Arm the teachers, okay? And we were discussing on the break, there's a private school in Marble Falls. It was on KVUE News just today, posted January 31st. Hill Country teachers talk guns. They are going to start arming the teachers in a private school in Marble Falls. Randy mentioned there's even a public school in the Panhandle that is going to allow teachers to have guns. I mean, hello, we defend our courts with guns. We defend our public servants with guns at the Senate and things like that, but we put up, how do we defend our children? We put up a sign on the door that says no guns. Give me a break.
Essentially says, turkey shoot here.
Turkey shoot here, exactly.
And when Michael was talking about after the shooting, the incredible increase in purchase of weapons, with the implication that people bought these weapons because they thought the government was going to take them away from them, I don't think that's the reason. I think the reason is because it is part of the American mentality that we think, if I was near that school, or if I was a teacher in that school and I was armed, this guy would have himself a gunfight. He wouldn't have himself a turkey shoot. If I was sitting in that theater and someone come in and opened up, he would have himself a fight.
Yeah, tell us the story about the church, Randy, that you were telling us on the break.
Oh, yeah. This was in Colorado several years ago. A guy came into a church. He was angry about something and opened up in the church. Well, the security guard was about almost a 6-foot-tall, good-looking, willowy blonde, really sweet, nice-looking lady, walked down the aisle, blasted away at this guy, and him shooting back at her, she walked right into a withering fire and shot him dead on the podium. He didn't get to get up there and have himself a turkey shoot. Human beings are human beings. We are not going to change that. Human beings have turned on one another since we have kept records. This is not going to change. A certain percentage of the human population are criminals. That's not going to change. You are not going to keep weapons out of the hands of criminals. It's not going to ever happen, and we need to stop dreaming about a perfect world. This is not a perfect world. If it were a perfect world, there's a good chance that you and I wouldn't be here. The world is what it is. People attack other people, and armed societies are polite societies.
Just ask anybody who's been to a gun show.
Oh, yeah. There was a police movie where two guys come in a bar and try to hold up the bar, and for 30 seconds, the only sound are hammers cocking back. And one guy says to the other, whacks him on the shoulder and said, "I told you this was a bad idea." I was once thrown through the top half of a window out of a beer joint in Korat, Thailand. Big fight, Army, Air Force, two bases together. They're always having big fights. Everybody in there armed to the teeth. Nobody ever even dreamed of pulling a weapon. Unless you had an incredible death wish and you wanted your own people shooting you, because if you pulled a weapon in there, they would figure you had to be so drunk that you might shoot them. So we're not going to fix this problem by disarming the people. It's just irrational.
It's completely irrational.
96% of the people are the good guys. I want 96% of the people at least armed. Part of that other 4% is going to be armed whether I like it or not. But I want the 96% armed. I'll feel safe then.
Yeah, me too. All right, well, listen, we're heading to break. We're going to go into our last segment here of the first hour, final segment with Michael Badnarik. Michael, If you want to take some calls, callers, 512-646-1984.
Mr. President, members of Congress, you've been making a lot of noise about taking our guns away. But you might want to review history. 1835, Gonzales, Texas Territory. The authorities wanted to confiscate the big gun that protected that colony. You know what the people said? Come and take it. Because they were willing to fight for their freedom and their guns. So are we.
Come and take it if you want it. Come and take it if you think you can. Come and take it, but I warn you, you'll have to pry it from my cold dead hands. We want the freedom that God gave us, so you best not cross that line. If you want this gun, you gotta come through us and take it.
One shot at a time. Just like Gonzales, we're keeping our guns.
Are you the plaintiff or defendant in a lawsuit? Win your case without an attorney with JurisDictionary, the affordable, easy-to-understand 4-CD course that will show you how in 24 hours, step by step. If you have a lawyer, know what your lawyer should be doing. If you don't have a lawyer, know what you should do for yourself. Thousands have won with our step-by-step course, and now you can too. JurisDictionary was created by a licensed attorney with 22 years of case-winning experience. Even if you're not in a lawsuit, you can learn what everyone should understand about the principles and practices that control our American courts. You'll receive our audio classroom, video seminar, tutorials, forms for civil cases, pro se tactics, and much more. Please visit ruleoflawradio.com and click on the banner or call toll-free 866-LAW-EASY.
Okay, folks, we are back. This is our final segment with Mr. Michael Badnarik. Michael, thank you for coming on tonight with us. Thank you so much for talking with us about this gun issue. And I think it's pretty obvious we are not giving them up, just as Steve Voss said on the PSA during the break. Come and take it if you think you can, but you're going to have to come through us, and you're going to have to come and take it one shot at a time, you know. So, Michael, you've got a book out. Can you please tell us about your book and where folks can get your new book?
The name of the book is Secret to Sovereignty. People have asked me for an advanced class, and this is about as close as I can get to an advanced class. It talks about how to survive the Second American Revolution, and you can get it at my website, constitutionpreservation.org. It's not for sale. It's only for barter, and you'll find all the terms of the agreements there on my website, constitutionpreservation.org, and you can read a significant excerpt. There's a teaser to let you know what's in the book so that you'll know whether you want to buy it or not.
Excellent. And I highly recommend getting Michael's books. He also wrote the book Good to be King, which basically it's about all of us, kings and queens out there, It's a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. We are no longer under a monarchy. Our forefathers broke away from that. We are the kings now, and they are the public servants. And we've got to keep that in mind. We are on top now, and we are the ones with the rights. And we've got to keep that in mind. The differences between rights and privileges, and the fact that rights do not come from a piece of paper. I believe in our Creator, Jesus Christ, and I believe that we get our rights from Him. Not everyone believes in God, but folks, regardless of what your spiritual beliefs are, you have to realize that our rights do not come from a piece of paper. They are inherent. They are part of us. I believe they were given to us by our Creator. And so I highly recommend that you get Michael's book, Good to be King, and get his new book also. There, from what I hear, do tell, there's some stories about Randy in there too.
Randy and Deborah.
And me. Wow. Okay. So, Michael, we have you on for about 10 more minutes here. You know, there's all this big brouhaha going on. And I heard an interview today with Larry Pratt on Alex Jones' show. And Larry was saying that he thinks they've pretty much reached the point between his organization, Gun Owners of America, and the NRA, that they have been able, at least so far, to apply enough pressure. They're pretty sure that, at least from a legislative point of view, they will be able to successfully block any legislation that could come down the pike as far as banning specific type of weapons or this and that or the gun grabbing or whatever, but that the real fight that they're going to be facing this year is this business of background checks for everyone to do a private sale or even a gift. Like if a father wants to give a firearm to his son or something like that, have to go to a background check. And so that appears to be what they're facing right now that they believe is the biggest challenge. But that doesn't mean that, Obama isn't going to try to do something through executive order. And of course, through all the bureaucratic agencies. And that doesn't mean that they're not going to try to regulate us to death, and send us through all these, mental exams and this and that, or get to the point that if you have a parking ticket, you can't own a gun and this and that. So, I mean, what is your take on all of this, Michael? Where do you really think this is all headed? And what can we do to stop it before it gets to the point of bloody revolution? Or do you think that's even possible?
It's not possible to stop it. These people, if a logical, rational discussion was able to solve the problem, excuse me, we would have solved it already. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out, that you have a right to keep and bear arms. You've got a right to self-defense. I'm not the only person out there talking about this stuff. There are lots of people who have got really good information about the Constitution. So if information was going to solve it, then it would have already. These people are never going to stop. They're never going to give up. And if you think you're going to sweet talk your way out of it, you are terribly mistaken. The only way we're going to be able to stop these people when they come, because they will, is to put them out of your misery. They are coming to try to kill you, and you've got to be ready to kill them first.
Michael, I like that. Don't put them out of their misery. Put them out of your misery. That's a good one.
Yeah. It's like, this is going to hurt you a whole lot more than it hurts me.
Indeed. Well, Randy, what do you have to say about it?
I was too busy chuckling over that statement. I have to agree with it. And, I don't have guns, but I'm not against guns. I want everybody to have guns. I've just spent too much time on the sharp end of them. But having spent time on the sharp end of them, I understand the reality. And Michael is exactly right. These folks want to get rid of guns, and they don't want to get rid of guns to keep guns from hurting people. They want to get rid of the guns for the very reason our forefathers put the right to have the protected right to have the guns in the Constitution. Or I said that wrong. They forbade the government to interfere with that right. And they didn't forbid the government to interfere with that right so that we could use guns to protect ourselves. Michael, tell them what the reason they gave us the right to keep guns is.
Well, the reason they identified our right, they didn't give it to us, but the reason they identified our right is so that we could defend ourselves from tyranny in our own government. Now, one of the biggest problems is denial. You know, most of the people out there are going, not my government. My government would never do that. Barack Obama, no, he's a good guy. Well, that's what they thought in Germany, too. You know, they thought, oh, gosh, Adolf Hitler, what a good guy. He invented the Volkswagen. Now all of us can drive around. He's on our side. He would never do anything to hurt us. And, you know, it is that denial, that unwillingness to accept the bad things that are happening in your own country that causes you to just idly sit by and not take the appropriate action. You know, we've got to, we got to straighten up. We've got to admit to ourselves that all these bad things are happening, and it's our responsibility to fix it, hopefully before it gets any more out of control. So, you know, I have been jumping up and down and ranting and raving and trying to get people to see the light, you know, and people are, it's difficult for me to believe that anybody could be dumb enough not to see the answer. And at this point, if you don't see the answer, it's because you don't want to see the answer. And if you're working for the government, it's because you've got an ulterior motive.
Well, apparently a lot of people are seeing the answer, Michael, because even as you pointed out yourself, since the Sandy Hook shooting took place, the 10 million guns have been sold, and that's just what's on record through the NICS system. So I think a lot of people are starting to see the light, finally.
It's about time. It's like being on the stern of the Titanic with water up to your knees going, is there a problem with the boat? It's like, yeah, and there's only one more lifeboat left, and you better be on it.
Better be on it. Better get while the getting is good.
So, anyway, I hope that your listeners are taking us seriously. We laugh and joke and have a good time when we're on the program, but this is a serious problem. It is a really serious problem, and I don't want your listeners just to kind of sit by and think that we are only having fun.
Well, we got to have a little gallows humor once in a while, as they say, because if you don't laugh, eventually you're going to cry, and then we do a lot of screaming as well and ranting. But yeah, it is a serious problem, and we've got to deal with it. And I know how I'm dealing with it, Michael. I'm dealing with it the same way that all these other people are dealing with it that have bought these 10 million guns. So, Michael, we've got about a little less than a minute left in this segment. Why don't you plug your website and your book again one more time and give us some closing comments?
The website is constitutionpreservation.org, not constitutional, just constitutionpreservation.org. The name of the new book is Secret to Sovereignty. You can read excerpts from the book and find out how to acquire one. And, when I was in the hospital in 2009 with my heart attack, I got 2 shopping bags filled with Get Well cards. Most of those cards said, Michael, you can't die. You have to restore liberty. As if it was my responsibility. Well, my response to that is, when I die, liberty is no longer my problem. So your listeners better buck up and start taking responsibility for their own liberty, because I'm not sure how long I'm going to be around after having written this book.
Look, we are all responsible for protecting our own liberty, and working together, we can all protect our own liberty. Michael, thank you very much for joining us tonight.
I love you guys. Take care. Thanks for all the good work.
The Bible remains the most popular book in the world, yet countless readers are frustrated because they struggle to understand it. Some new translations try to help by simplifying the text, but in the process can compromise the profound meaning of the Scripture. Enter the Recovery Version. First, this new translation is extremely faithful and accurate, but the real story is the more than 9,000 explanatory footnotes. Difficult and profound passages are opened up in a marvelous way, providing an entrance into the riches of the Word beyond which you've ever experienced before. Bibles for America would like to give you a free recovery version simply for the asking. This comprehensive yet compact study Bible is yours just by calling us toll-free at 1-888-551-0102 or by ordering online at freestudybible.com. That's freestudybible.com.
You're listening to the Logos Radio Network at logosradionetwork.com.
Once upon a time, your printer was not a privacy risk, but today's printers are often connected to Wi-Fi networks, making them a treasure trove for hackers. I'm Dr. Catherine Albrecht, back with details on the potential spy in your office, next.
Privacy is under attack. When you give up data about yourself, you'll never get it back again. And once your privacy is gone, you'll find your freedoms will start to vanish too. So protect your rights, say no to surveillance, and keep your information to yourself. Privacy, it's worth hanging on to. This message is brought to you by StartPage.com, the private search engine alternative to Google, Yahoo, and Bing. Start over with StartPage.
Hacking somebody through their printer sounds like an urban legend, but now that printers have hard drives, email capacity, and are connected to the internet, they've become attractive to attackers. Here's an example. Samsung printers sold up until October 2012 had a security flaw that lets hackers send fake faxes, copy sensitive documents, and spy on you or your company by eavesdropping on your Wi-Fi traffic. Yikes! Your best defense is to change the default password, add antivirus and malware protection, and get that printer behind a firewall. If you don't, you could be the next victim. I'm Dr. Catherine Albrecht for StartPage.com, the world's most private search engine. Hey, wipe that grin off your face. States across the U.S. are officially forbidding people from smiling when they get their driver's license photos taken. I'm Dr. Catherine Albrecht, back to tell you why the long faces at the DMV, next.
Privacy is under attack. When you give up data about yourself, you'll never get it back again. And once your privacy is gone, you'll find your freedoms will start to vanish too. So protect your rights, say no to surveillance, and keep your information to yourself. Privacy, it's worth hanging on to. This message is brought to you by StartPage.com, the private search engine alternative to Google, Yahoo, and Bing. Start over with StartPage.
If you're applying for a driver's license in a growing number of U.S. states, don't even think about smiling. A big grin in your photo is now considered illegal. That's because smiling defeats the software they use to map and measure people's features for facial recognition. Officials say they're preventing identity theft by comparing new license photos with existing ones. But of course, once they've got your scowling mug in their database, they can use it to track you. All police need to ID you in a public place is to snap your picture on the street and compare it against what's on file. How long does that take? The answer, 1 second. I'm Dr. Catherine Albrecht for StartPage.com, the world's most private search engine.
Looking for some truth? You found it. LogosRadioNetwork.com.
They want to chant down Babylon and burn down the whole nation. But of them operate the land wrong. and them a scratch, man. Tell them I'm a libertarian. Them say we born to lose, but we born to win. Come rock and walk. Justice and chant love rule this time. How what we say? Chant for our wars. I don't me tell them. Chant down by. Chant down by. Chant for justice and chant always man.
Okay, folks, we are back. This is the Rule of Law on the Logos Radio Network, logosradionetwork.com. Tonight is Thursday, January 31st, 2013. Hard to believe that the first month of 2013 has already blown by. And we just finished a fantastic interview with Mr. Michael Badnarik. Folks, the phone lines are now open to talk about any issue you would like to discuss, legal issues, or if you want to talk about the gun issue some more. 512-646-1984. But before we go on, I want to plug the fundraiser one more time for those of you who weren't tuned in right at the top of the hour. We are in the midst of the fundraiser. I've extended it to the end of February because this gun giveaway got dropped in my lap around January 10th, and so I need to give folks time. Need to have time to get the word out to folks who haven't heard yet that for $20, you will get your name put in the hat for the drawing for the giveaway of the Rock River AR-15, donated by Zombie Killers Ammo and Guns in Corpus Christi, Texas. And also the second place prize is a lower receiver for an AR-15 made by Spikes Tactical, and that is being donated by Central Texas Gun Works. Michael Cargill, right here in Austin, Texas. He is the gentleman that is basically leading the tirade against Groupon because of what they did to him over his concealed handgun classes. And it's just absolutely ridiculous. I mean, the man is teaching classes. He offers these classes for free, beginner pistol classes, advanced pistol class. He offers some classes for free to people who really, really need them, especially like, women who may be extremely financially challenged and they want to learn how to defend themselves. And I mean, this is somebody who is here standing up to teach law-abiding citizens how to follow the gun laws in Texas, to help them get a concealed handgun permit, to learn mediation techniques and how to diffuse situations without it getting to the point of firearms, all these kinds of things, teaching people responsible firearm ownership, and Groupon wants to shut this sort of thing down. I mean, this is absolutely ridiculous. So at any rate, he is also sponsoring this giveaway, and he is donating the Spikes Tactical AR-15 lower receiver. That is the second prize. Of course, the grand prize is the Rock River AR-15. There for $20, you get your name in the hat. If you want to donate more, $100. You get your name in the hat 5 times. We've got the DVD burners, the Purium gift cards, the colloidal silver, the ionic silver. So, folks, please go to logosradionetwork.com. We're trying to raise $10,000. My original goal was to raise $7,000 by the end of January. That's not happening. We have about 5,700, almost 6,000 with what's come in the mail so far. Not quite making our original goal of $7,000 by the end of January. My real goal, I really wanted to try to raise $10,000. I wasn't sure if I'd be able to do it, so I set the goal a little bit lower. But now that we've got all these perks and all these giveaways and the firearm and everything, I've decided to increase the goal to $10,000, which is what I really need to give the network a good boost, good shot in the arm, so that we can pay back our loans, so that we can upgrade our equipment, so that we can put a little aside to pay these ongoing operating expenses that keep increasing. Folks, we need to have a little buffer, okay? We need to have a little safety zone here for the network, because for years, we have just been, from week to week sometimes, not knowing how we're going to pay the bills. You know, I used to work a full-time job as a physical therapist, and I quit my full-time job. I had to, in order to have time to run this network. And basically, my husband, Jerry Stevens, piano tuner, piano technician, he is able to take care of us. And for the most part, he's funding the bills of the network, too. But, folks, it just gets to be too much for us sometimes. I mean, I'm not asking for a handout. I want to make that clear. I'm not asking for money to pay my own bills. Okay, my husband can take care of us, but it just gets to be a little bit too much sometimes for Jerry and for Randy and Eddie to have to pay for everything ourselves. We do have the sponsors, but most of the sponsors are on commission. And so that means if folks don't buy the products of our sponsors, we don't get paid. And that means we have to pay for it ourselves. And it just gets to be a little much for us that all the time, it's like, how are we going to pay the bills this month? How are we going to pay the bills this month? You know, folks, there's no way for us to be able to improve the quality, to add shows, to get new servers. Equipment starts to fall apart. We have to upgrade equipment. I had a workstation blow up a few months ago. It was extremely expensive to replace because I had to go to Fry's and build a computer over the weekend. I couldn't take my time and shop for good deals on the internet and stuff like that. Folks, we need to have a little buffer put aside. We've spent all our savings, okay? Jerry and I and Randy and Eddie, we have blown our savings on the network, okay? We're going day to day here, and we need to have a little safety zone so that we can stay on the air and not have to worry about these things so much. So, folks, please help us reach our goal of 10,000. It's really not that much. I mean, most networks, it costs that much to run their network every month. All right, I'm doing things on a shoestring budget here, and so I think we're doing pretty well to get you guys and gals out there the quality of service for the price. I don't charge for the archives. We don't charge for the stream. We're giving away free legal advice on the air. We're doing everything we can to get you guys the best quality information for free as much as possible. But we do need your help to stay on the air. So, hey, take advantage of the perks. You get the free gift cards for the health food. You get your free DVD burner if you need to upgrade your computer too. You get the colloidal silver, the ionic silver, preserve your health. You get your shot at winning a firearm. So please help us to help you. All right, that's all I'm going to say about that. LogosRadioNetwork.com is where to go to chip in. All right, we've got some calls now. Randy, would you like to take some calls?
Absolutely.
Okay, we've got Steve in New Mexico. Steve, thanks for calling in. What is your question for us tonight?
Thanks. A few months ago, you guys talked about, or I spoke with you guys about if you're a victim of a crime, like you've had your rights violated or something like that, you can send a document to the grand jury for their consideration. And I'm in New Mexico, and I've talked to a few people about this, and I think the way you guys recommended was to send it certified mail to the individual grand juries. And the people here are telling me that when the grand jury receives it or when it goes there, that the attorney will seize the document and prevent the grand jurors from reading it. Is that correct? Or
that's the standard procedure.
Okay, so is there any way to get the complaint before the grand jury bypassing the attorneys from seeing it? Because the attorneys are
not at the moment, not unless we can get laws changed. But there are methods. We have all the checks and balances we need. If a prosecuting attorney intercepts a mailed document that is mailed to a specific person, that comes under, I think it's 1343. Title 18 USC 1343, mail tampering with the mail.
Okay.
And the feds won't smile on that kind of behavior.
Okay. Is it possible, just like I happen to know where the grand jury convenes, is it possible just to walk to that location and try to appear before the grand jury without...
Okay, here's the way I do that.
Okay.
I walk up to the bailiff. There will be a bailiff standing in front of the door of the grand jury. Mm-hmm. And the first thing you do is you tell him your name. You don't want him asking you questions.
Okay.
I tell him, my name is Randall Kelton, instruct the foreman that I have business with the grand jury.
Okay.
And he will always say, may I tell him the nature of the business? And I say, yes, you may. Give him this. And if a prosecuting attorney comes along and says anything, ask the bailiff to arrest him for jury tampering. Mm-hmm. This is not his business. If the bailiff wants to give the document to the grand jury, to the prosecutor. I was in Johnson County, Texas. Walked up to the bailiff. The bailiff knew precisely who I was. I told him my name is Randall Kelton, struck the form that I have business with the grand jury. May I tell him the nature of the business? Yes, you may. I handed him these documents. And he stood there and he kind of looked back and forth for a moment, and I said, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking I should call the prosecuting attorney and see what he wants me to do. Well, those complaints you have in your hand are against the prosecuting attorney. If you call the prosecutor, I will consider that an act of obstruction of justice, tampering with the witness, and my next set of complaints will be against you. He said, are you threatening me? Oh, absolutely not. I promise you, if you don't give that to the foreman of the grand jury, I will be back with criminal charges against you. He did. He gave him to the grand jury. And I wound up presenting the district attorney to the grand jury. Now, in order to facilitate this, I had to set them up. I first sent criminal complaints to the prosecuting attorney. In Texas, we have a special statute, 2.03, which directs the prosecuting attorney in the matter of a complaint against a public official to present the complaint to the grand jury. You probably don't have that in New Mexico. So what you do instead is you mail the documentation to the grand jury, and on the top of it you put a cover letter to the foreman, asking the foreman to initial this document and date it and return it to you in the included stamped self-addressed envelope, so that you will know that he actually got the document, because the prosecuting attorney has a real bad habit of tampering with mail directed to a grand jury member. So, if you don't get that letter back within a week, then you have reasonable, probable cause to believe that someone at the courthouse tampered with the U.S. mail. And while that is a federal crime, it's also an act of official oppression or official misconduct, and most every state will have that, because that statute reflects 18 U.S. Code 242. And when the states all adopted the model, the penal code and code of criminal procedure, that's in most every set of code. And there's always going to be a code for official misconduct. So you charge the prosecuting attorney with official misconduct for secreting government documents. That's probably another one you could charge, from the person or office it's directed to. You make up the complaint against the prosecutor and go down there with the complaint against the prosecutor. When he tries to interfere with you, then you file against him. Hang on, we're about to go to break. This is Randy Kelton, Deborah Stevens, Eddie Craig, Rule of Law Radio. Our call-in number, 512-646-1984. We'll be right back.
At Capital Coin and Bullion, our mission is to be your preferred shopping destination by delivering excellent customer service and outstanding value at an affordable price. Capital Coin features a great selection of high-quality coins and precious metals. In addition to providing the best prices in the nation, we want to bring you the best shopping experience both in-store and online. In addition to coins and bullion, we carry popular longevity products such as Beyond Tangy Tangerine and Pollen Burst. We offer freeze-dried storable foods by Augustin Farms, Berkey Water Products, ammunition at 10% above wholesale, and more. You can lock in a spot price with our silver pool, and we set up metals IRA accounts. Call us at 512-646-6440 for more details. We're located at 7304 Burnett Road, Suite A, about a half mile south of Anderson. We're open Monday through Friday 10 to 6, Saturdays 10 to 2. Visit us at capitalcoinandbullion.com or call 512-646-6440.
Hey, tangy tangerine, see what you've done to me. I'm losing weight and I'm not half the man I used to be. Hey, tangy tangerine, you make me feel so good. I don't need more.
Beyond Tangy Tangerine is available at Brave New Books, located at 1904 Guadalupe Street. The bookstore also carries the works of Dr. Joel Wallach, founder of Youngevity and creator of Beyond Tangy Tangerine.
This is the Logos Radio Network.
Ain't gonna blind me. Don't bore me. Well, ain't gonna fool me with that same old trick again. I was blindsided, but now I can see your plan. You put the fear in my pockets, took my...
Okay, we are back. Randy Kelton, Deborah Stevens, Rule Blah Radio. We were talking to Steve in New Mexico. Steve, when we're going out, you were trying to make a comment.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so I just wanted to summarize. So tomorrow, I happen to know where they'll be convening, so I'm going to go to that location with my complaints, and there's going to be a bailiff there, and then I'm going to tell the bailiff to instruct the foreman that I have business with the grand jury. He's going to say, what's the nature of the business? I hand him the criminal complaints and tell him to give that to the grand jury, and if he refuses, it'd be obstruction of justice. If I'm somehow not successful, you're saying to use certified mail using...
Yes, let me explain.
Four-person with a self-stamped envelope, having him initial a sheet so that I know that he got the complaints.
Yeah, you put that in the package. Make sure it's in a sealed folder.
Okay.
You do not want the bailiff thumbing through it. Okay. And if the bailiff interferes with you, don't argue with the bailiff. And above all, do not give the bailiff any legal advice. This may take you a little while. It takes a few steps and a little time, but the setup is very powerful. You go and give it to the bailiff. If the bailiff refuses, then don't argue with him. Just go away. Then prepare a set of criminal complaints against the bailiff, accusing the bailiff of jury tampering.
Okay.
And obstruction of justice.
Okay.
And you come back the next time they meet, and you ask the bailiff to secure another bailiff. As you have documents for the grand jury, and you need another bailiff other than him to give them to the foreman of the grand jury. And he's going to say, why is that? You're going to say, well, these complaints are against you. So what does he do now? Does he shield the grand jury from hearing criminal complaints against himself? See the problem?
Yeah.
You give him a conundrum, so he's likely to go get the prosecuting attorney.
Okay.
And the prosecuting attorney is likely to come and give you sage advice. Oh, you should do this, that, or the other. And you just thank the district attorney profusely for his sage advice, and then file against him.
Okay.
So what they do, if you don't argue with them, don't give them legal advice, and always hope they don't do what you ask them to do.
Okay.
If you hope they're going to do what you ask them to, you'll be disappointed. If you hope they don't do it so you can kick them in the professional teeth, they will never disappoint you.
Okay.
And you just turn the crank on them.
All right.
So give it a try. You just try not to have too much fun with it. Never, ever give them legal advice.
Okay.
Tell them what you want to do. When they tell you can't do it, just say, okay, and then you go prepare charges against them and come back. And this will keep them from being able to manipulate you into a confrontation.
Okay. And
you will always lose the confrontation.
I'm sorry, federal grand jurors, they're on duty for 18 months, is that correct?
I think so. Are you filing this in a federal grand jury?
Yeah, I'm doing both. I'm going to go to federal and county.
Okay. I suggest you do the federal different.
Okay.
With the federal, you don't go there. Do everything by mail. Don't ever let them see you.
Okay.
Send it certified, registered, restricted form into the grand jury.
All right.
And in this one, you put a letter that asks the grand jury foreman to initial this letter and send it back to you. Stipulate that you do not want him to sign it because the U.S. attorney has a rubber stamp with his name on it that he uses to stamp superseding indictments when he secrets those from grand jurors, and you do not want the U.S. attorney rubber stamping this document if he intercepts this package.
Okay.
So the U.S. attorney will get it, open it, read that, and say, oops, this guy set me up. Yeah, as a matter of fact, we did. And then if you don't get the letter back within a week, then you send a complaint to a local federal judge against the district attorney, accusing the district attorney of tampering with the mail and tampering with the government document and obstruction of justice.
Okay.
And then you wait a week and send a letter to the grand jury asking the grand jury or telling the grand jury that you have evidence of crime against the district judge for not presenting your complaints to the grand jury against the prosecuting attorney.
Okay.
And they will see that you're just following steps. It makes everything political.
Okay.
They see somebody out there setting them up. And the guy you originally, or whoever it was you originally complained about, he's going to have himself a lot of trouble.
Right.
Because it's all political, and this will create a lot of political pressure. And they may actually pursue your original. Can't guarantee it, but this is the best strategy I know of.
Randy, what about, do prosecutors and judges does their immunity apply just civilly, or does it apply if they have criminal charges against them as well?
There is absolutely no immunity from criminal prosecution of any kind written into any law. Period.
All right.
So that immunity, it is immunity that the judges crafted out for themselves.
Okay.
But it only goes to civil litigation, does not go to criminal.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, thanks for your help, and I'll keep you guys updated and let you know how it goes.
Wonderful. Thank you. Okay, we're going to go to Danny in Illinois. Hello, Danny. I understand you have a IRS question.
That's correct.
Okay, keep in mind, IRS is not my area. I've done some research in it, but not enough to be able to speak definitively to the issue.
Right. Well, this has to do with the documents being filed in with the county clerk.
You're talking about a IRS lien?
Yeah, a notice of lien.
Okay, notice of lien. Well, you can't actually file a lien. We used to have guys in the Patriot community running around saying, show me the lien, show me the lien. Well, you can't show somebody a lien. A lien is not something that has physical existence. A lien is a situation that is created as a matter of law. So you can only give notice that the lien exists as a matter of law. So it is a notice of lien, and the IRS does not have to follow the state filing requirements. All of the states have entered into a special agreement with the IRS that allows the IRS to file these notices of liens the way they do. And all those folks that are raising those arguments haven't read the code. Actually, Deborah, you're there. You're the one that found this.
Yeah, I did find that. That was many years ago when we were in Pennsylvania. There are 2 different statutes that govern filing notices of lien, with these county clerks. One of the statutes applies to everybody but the IRS, or everybody but federal entities, and the other statute governs the IRS and other federal entities. It's a special statute. I forgot what it's called. It's something about the Uniform Federal Tax Lien Statute or something like that. And all of the states pretty much have decided to comply with this statute and to enact it into law. And so the IRS, basically, they are in compliance of law. They don't have to go through all the hoops that most people have to, or most entities have to go through to file notices of lien. So that's that. All right, we're going to break right now. Danny, hold on. We'll be right back. This is The Rule of Law.
A Noble Lie, Oklahoma City, 1995, will change forever the way you look at the true nature of terrorism.
Based on the damage pattern to the building, what the government says is impossible.
The grand jury did not want to hear anything I had to say.
The decision was made not to pursue any more of those individuals.
Some of these columns were ripped up, shredded, tossed around.
The people that did the things they did knew doggone well what they were doing.
Expose the cover-up now at anobleye.com.
The Rule of Law Radio Network is proud to present a due process of law seminar hosted by our own Eddie Craig. Eddie is a former Nacogdoches Sheriff's deputy, and for the past 21 years he's been studying the due process of law and now offers his knowledge to you at a seminar every Sunday from 2 o'clock to 5 o'clock at Brave New Books, located at 1904 Guadalupe Street. Admission is $20, so please make plans to come by and sit with Eddie and learn for yourself what the true intent of law really is.
At hempusa.org, we offer chemical-free products to people around the world, detoxifying, self-healing, while rebuilding the immune system. We urge our listeners to please consider our largest-selling product, Micro Plant Powder. Our Micro Plant Powder is rich in iodine, probiotics, zinc, and silica to help rebuild the immune system and to create a healthy stomach flora. Micro Plant Powder is excellent for daily intake and is perfect to add to your storage shelter. We urge our listeners to please visit us at hempusa.org. And remember, all of our products are chemical-free and healthy to eat. We constantly strive to give you the best service, highest quality, and rapid shipping anywhere. And we offer free shipping on orders over $95 in the U.S. Please visit us at hempusa.org or call 908-691-2608. That's 908-691-2608. See what our powder, seeds, and oil can do for you at hempusa.org.
You are listening to the Logos Radio Network. LogosRadioNetwork.com.
Yeah, and who you want to chip? Who you take me for? Free Tole? Who you want chip? Me no free Tole. You can't chip me. All I'm saying. Don't let them chip you in the morning, chip you in the evening, put a chip in your body. And anyway you go computer ready, you can't hide me say from nobody. When me say, chip in your mom, chip in your daddy, chip in your grandpa and the grandme, chip in me, chip in your baby, chip in your family, whole family, chip in your dog and the cat around we, chip in the beef and you still go eat it, chip in the fish, them all in the sea, chip in the shark and the whale around me. You know see mankind, you and chip crazy. Them the kind of thing, man, they want to read me. Social security, them go tell me. Number with them give me, then repeat up, you see. I'm chip you in the morning, chip you in the evening.
Okay, folks, we are back. This is The Rule of Law. Randy Kelton, Eddie Craig, Deborah Stevens. And yeah, sorry to bust everyone's bubble on this issue about the notices of tax lien. I've heard this argument for a long time, and when we were up in Pennsylvania, one of our clients was wanting us to look into this to see if we could basically get these notices of lien and these liens voided because they didn't follow the statute governing the proper procedure for filing notices of lien with the county. And so Randy and I marched down to the law library and started doing some research. And, I found the statute in less than 10 minutes, okay? And it really wasn't that hard to find. I mean, it wasn't that hard to find at all. I mean, I had to look through about 3 or 4 books on tax liens and liens in general, and I mean, it was right there in the table of contents, and this wasn't even on the internet. And so, folks, to me, this is a lesson in people find what they want to find. And I'm not talking about me. It's like people have what I call selective finding. They want reality to be a certain way, and so they'll look for case law. All right, hold on. Randy, I think the cops are coming for you.
Yeah.
Okay. People will look, and I'm not saying everyone, but I've seen that this is a tendency sometimes with pro se litigants. They look for statutes and they look for case law to back up their position. And there's nothing wrong with that. You want to find statute and case law that backs up your position, but more than that, folks, you should be looking for case law and statute that shoots down your position. Okay? You have to be objective when you're doing research on an issue, because I'll tell you what, it's a heck of a lot better to get shot down in the law library than to get shot down in court. And so just because you find something that you think backs up your position, don't start jumping for joy and thinking that you got your case beat. You better look twice as hard or 10 times as hard for case law and statute that will shoot down your position. You better find it yourself, because believe me, if you can find it, the other side's already found it. So that's all I have to say on that issue. Randy?
Yeah, I've been there. Quoted a statute, and the attorney, this was the prosecuting attorney, it wasn't a criminal case. It was a bond issue for a friend of mine who had a bonding company, and it had been repealed the year before.
Ooh.
That really, really sucked. But I learned a lesson from that. He really made me look like a chump and laughed and snickered the whole time. I don't let that happen to me anymore. Check your facts. Never make a proactive statement of fact that you do not have evidence to back up. Never make a proactive statement of law out of your own mouth. You must make it out of the mouth of the courts. Those 2 adages will protect you. It's difficult to do that. It means you have to do your homework. But that's how things have to work. Okay.
All right, Danny, does that help? And we do have 1, 2, 3, 4 other callers on the line. So let's try to move quickly, folks. We've only got 1.5 segments left. Go ahead, Danny.
I got that information from you last time I talked to you. So, but anyway, you let everybody else know about it. Question I wanted to ask you is, but once they file a lien, it's for a certain amount. Is that something that's flexible?
That's what do you mean? Something that's possible.
It's flexible. If they file a lien for a certain amount, then like a month later, can they say, "Well, now the lien is for this amount," and without anything else in it?
No, they would have to refile.
Well, exactly. That's what happened.
Yeah, they can change the amount.
No, okay, hold on. They can refile and change the amount. The claim they make against you can change. Did they exercise the lien?
They froze my accounts.
Okay, they sold your property for?
No, they froze it.
Okay, that's a levy. That's not a lien.
Okay, listen. The lien amount does not necessarily have anything to do with the amount that you owe them at the moment. When they file the lien, they file the lien based on what was owed at that moment. your indebtedness may increase. And if they liquidate the property, they can take from the property. Well, they can take, doesn't matter. They can take from whatever you would receive for the property. If they sell the property, whatever they receive from the property, they can take from it what you owe them. They can take the amount of the lien, but if you owe them more, they can still take that if you have it. They filed the lien because you probably didn't have enough in your accounts for them to come and take it all. So they filed the lien.
It is on my accounts. It's not on my property. Okay? It's a notice. It's a notice of federal tax lien, and it's for a certain amount. And then when I got the information from the bank just a day or two ago, it's for quite a bit more.
Okay, so that's a loan against you. That's a lien against you personally.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, they can take anything you got for the amount that you owe them. The IRS can do that. They don't have to have it in the form of a filed lien. All they have to do is have a tax levy.
Yeah. And the signature is not the same as the name that's underneath it. I guess that doesn't matter either.
That don't mean anything. They can have more than one person that has power of attorney for the IRS.
Typically, all those names are they're fake names anyway. They're names of computers.
And that's all legal then, huh? I see.
No, it's not legal, but you can't prove it. If you could prove that signatory didn't exist, then you could claim tampering with the government document. But there's a problem there. That's not a fight. Pick your fights real careful. That's a frivolous fight. It'll get you nowhere. Even if you win it, you hadn't won anything. Because if the guy didn't exist, who are you going to go after?
Yeah. When is last time I talked to you, said that he'd be available on Monday, but he ended up having a.
Who would be available on Monday? Oh, David. He's there now.
You mean Eddie?
David Lewis.
Well, what is David's number?
Well, we can't give out people's numbers on the air.
Send me an email. I'll send it to you.
So I'll send you an email to just ask for David's number?
Yeah. Just go to any restaurant in Austin and look on the toilet walls.
Come on.
Now send me an email to Randy at Remedies in Real Estate.
All right. Thanks for your help.
Okay, thanks, Danny.
You're most welcome.
All right, we need to blaze through these calls, Randy. We're coming to the end of this segment. We got David in Texas. David, thank you for calling. What is your question tonight? I believe it's about a PI. Go ahead.
Yes, thank you for taking my call. I'm going to just give you the outskirts of it here. I had a PI back in July, and I did pro se on there, and this is before listening to you guys. I entered a plea of not guilty, represented myself before a jury, and ended up, of course, being found guilty on it, being fined. And there was three different charges. One was a city, one was a county, and the other two were city. PI, walking in a roadway where a public sidewalk was available, and the other was resisting arrest, which is the county charge. Then it was dropped to interfering with a public official's duties, and now I'm scheduled to. I went to, I guess the court sent out a letter saying I need to show up. I showed up, and
okay, wait. You need to move quickly. We're running out of time.
Okay. Well, they informed me that the option that they were giving me was a $375 fine and 60 days in jail for the county charge on that. And my question is, what do I need to go in there? Because I'm scheduled to go in there on February the 12th and enter a plea. And I don't want to go in there and enter a plea because I know it was a ring circus whenever I went in there and entered my plea and went through that day for the PI.
Oh, you're asking for a whole lot more than we can give you.
You may want to call back on Monday, David. Is this this hearing that's scheduled for you to enter, quote unquote, enter a plea? Is this would be the first appearance that you would make in the case?
Well, the first appearance was them just telling me what was initially going to be offered.
Well, is this going to be a trial?
Right. Well, I don't feel that I'm guilty on it.
Well,
trial,
no.
yes or no?
Is it a trial or not? What's coming up?
No, it's not.
Okay, then you don't have to enter a plea because the statute says that the judge doesn't even have jurisdiction to take a plea until after a jury has already been impaneled. David, hold on 1 second. We'll be right back on the other side. I suggest you call in to Eddie on Monday. We'll be right back, folks.
It is so enlightening to listen to 90.1 FM, but finding things on the internet isn't so easy, and neither is finding like-minded people to share it with.
Oh, well, I guess you haven't heard of Brave New Books then.
Brave New Books?
Yes, Brave New Books has all the books and DVDs you're looking for by authors like Alex Jones, Ron Paul, and G. Edward Griffin. They even stock Interfood, Berkey products, and Calvin soaps.
There's no way a place like that exists.
Go check it out for yourself. It's downtown at 1904 Guadalupe Street, just south of UT.
By UT, there's never anywhere to park down there.
Actually, they now offer a free hour of parking for paying customers at the 500 MLK parking facility, just behind the bookstore.
It does exist, but when are they open?
Monday through Saturday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and 1 to 6 p.m. on Sundays. So give them a call at 512-480-2503 or check out their events page at bravenewbookstore.com.
Are you the plaintiff or defendant in a lawsuit? Win your case without an attorney with JurisDictionary, the affordable, easy-to-understand 4-CD course that will show you how in 24 hours, step by step. If you have a lawyer, know what your lawyer should be doing. If you don't have a lawyer, know what you should do for yourself. Thousands have won with our step-by-step course, and now you can too. JurisDictionary was created by a licensed attorney with 22 years of case-winning experience. Even if you're not in a lawsuit, you can learn what everyone should understand about the principles and practices that control our American courts. You'll receive our audio classroom, video seminar, tutorials, forms for civil cases, pro se tactics, and much more. Please visit ruleoflawradio.com and click on the banner or call toll-free 866-LAW-EASY.
Hello? Oh, man, in jail? You got busted, man? Oh, man, I'm broke, dude.
Okay, folks, we are back. We're into our final segment. The board is jammed up with callers. Folks, if we can't get to you tonight, call back in tomorrow night. Randy does his 4-hour info marathon. There will be plenty of time to spend with everybody tomorrow night. I'm sorry, we probably are not going to get to everyone. David, listen, your case is going to take at least a half an hour to deal with, and we don't even have enough time left in the show to answer all your questions and to help you. Can you please call back on Monday and talk to Eddie?
Sure. Could I get just one little bit of information? You had mentioned a statute. What statute would that fall under?
I can't remember. I'd have to look it up, but we talk about it all the time. It has to look in the Code of Criminal Procedure. Okay.
And one other quick thing on if when I show up on the 12th, again, I remember listening one time where Randy, I believe it was Randy, said that there needs to be paperwork filed before I go in there and then refuse to enter a plea.
Yes, we can talk about that some more on Monday. Okay. We've got time, okay? So please call back in on Monday. I'll be on the air with Eddie, and we can go over this again. But, yeah, listen, the only time the court even has jurisdiction to accept a plea is after a jury has already been impaneled. If this isn't the trial, then, look, they try to pressure people into giving a plea early, and the reason for that is because they're trying to get you to waive your objection to in personam jurisdiction, all right? And we will go over that some more on Monday. But call back in on Monday, okay, David?
Okay, thank you.
All right, great, thanks. All right, folks, we need to move quickly now. We've only got less than 10 minutes left. We've got 4 callers on the board. Let's try to move as quickly as possible. Gary from Texas, what is your question or comment tonight?
Hey, how you doing? It's regarding the Code of Criminal Procedure, Article 28.05, or 04, I should say, quashing a charge in misdemeanor. And the capsule of the situation is there was I'm helping somebody who got a DWI. They took a blood test obtained the test without a warrant. There was no accident. There was nothing involved, so they were required to get a warrant. They didn't do it. And now the prosecutor has filed an information based on the test, which was illegally obtained. So my question is there a cause of action against the prosecutor for filing an information based on evidence that's unlawfully obtained?
No. In the short, no. The judges have provided essentially absolute immunity for prosecutors from civil litigation. There is, however, the American Bar Association standards for the prosecutorial function, and you can find that on bargrievance.net. Okay. And there are potentially criminal accusations to bring against the prosecutor. If the prosecutor is knowingly presenting false evidence,
correct,
and if the evidence is illegally obtained as false evidence, that's jury tampering, obstruction of justice. And that's a complaint you could file with the Attorney General.
Well, Randy, what about Title 42, Section 1983 suit on over malicious prosecution?
No, that doesn't. This is a state prosecution, and that doesn't go to a federal civil rights violation.
Are you sure? It doesn't go to federal civil rights violation? Aren't people's civil rights protected by the feds no matter what?
No. Well, not necessarily. This is a state prosecution.
Okay.
And he can't claim that his rights have been deprived because the prosecutor attempted to introduce evidence, unless he can show, this is where it's a technical issue about whether or not the evidence can be presented. And all crimes are thought crimes. He would have to be able to prove that the prosecutor knew that this evidence was subject to the poisoning the well doctrine.
Okay.
And that wouldn't give him a cause. But in the state, it would, because the state specifically requires under 2.01 that the prosecutor not secure evidence it shall be the primary duty of the prosecuting attorney not to secure conviction, but to ensure that justice is served. He shall not secret evidence or witnesses from the. Shall not secret evidence or witnesses that would show the innocence of the accused or mitigate the guilt of the accused. And evidence of improper taking of the blood sample would mitigate the guilt of the accused. So he had violated a law relating to his office. That's very specific. And you could go with 3903 Penal Code, and under 3903, under Chapter 39, you could file the complaint with the Attorney General, as authorized by 39.015.
We have filed a motion to suppress the evidence because it was obtained unlawfully without a warrant. And we've also filed a motion for discovery asking for any warrant that was issued prior to the taking of this blood sample, which, by the way, the defendant objected to numerous times.
The taking of the blood?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Who took the blood?
It was done at a medical facility, and we've done a Public Information Act request to the medical facility to make sure that they were qualified under...
Have him file criminally against the medical facility personnel.
Yep, absolutely.
That'll make them real unhappy.
Yeah, okay.
That kind of goes to corruption of blood. I never have heard anybody raise that issue, but that's directly to corruption of blood. That's in Constitution. That might get you federal.
Okay, Gary, listen, can you call back in tomorrow so we can continue? I want to try to jam in at least one more call if we can.
I will certainly call back tomorrow.
All right, great. Thanks, Gary.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's see if we can get in at least one, maybe two more calls. We've got Mark from Wisconsin. Mark, thank you for calling in. What's your question tonight?
Hello, you two. Hey, I was going through our municipal court or code here, and it says all citations or complaints shall be signed by a law enforcement officer, and they're not signing any of them. I'm wondering what could be done with that. Should it be a motion to strike or defective complaint?
Challenge to subject matter jurisdiction.
Right off the bat?
The document is insufficient to invoke the subject matter jurisdiction of the court as it fails to meet the rules for filing. And then when the judge denies your motion, then you file charges against the judge for impersonating a judicial officer.
Okay. And does that hold true in municipal court, too? You don't have to make a plea on your initial appearance?
It depends on your state law. This is all governed by state law. In the Code of Criminal Procedure here, it's very clear when you can enter a plea, when the court has jurisdiction to accept a plea.
Okay. And I was going to mention in the civil code, they have no problem.
Wait, hold on. A truck was going by. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, I'm pretty sure they could amend that citation, you guys, but so I was wondering if I should hold back on that. It says they can amend it if they're noticed of it in the civil code, but not the municipal code.
There may be... Okay, this goes to subject matter jurisdiction. So, yeah, you could bushwhack them with it later.
Okay.
But you can bushwhack them with it after they've already gone through the rigmarole and subjected the person to all of this difficulty, and then go back and file impersonating a judicial officer against the judge, sue the municipality, and if the officer subsequently testified, charge anybody who participated. Oh, you could have a lot of fun with that one.
This is, bear in mind, too, this is municipal, too, so it's probably going to be definitely trial de novo, Randy. How can I have some fun with this?
Oh, okay. I need to understand what trial de novo means. Trial de novo merely means that it's a do-over for the purpose of perfecting appeal. Trial de novo merely means that you do not have to appeal based on writ of error. It does not shield them from due process violations. Neither does it shield them from false testimony. If they falsely testify in this trial and you appeal, they can't say that, oh, you can't bring that in because this is trial de novo. Because it's not trial de novo for any other reason other than to perfect appeal.
Okay, so I'm just going to send a notice to the cop, and I know she's not going to do anything about it, and I'll bushwhack him with that later, huh?
Yes, bushwhack is great fun.
All right, thanks a lot.
I was in a court recently in Frisco, Texas, and the lawyer complained, it was an eviction hearing, that on a piece of property a guy wrote me a warranty deed to. This motion should be stricken because I just got it an hour ago. And I said, Your Honor, he knows better than that. This is a challenge to subject matter jurisdiction. It can be filed at any time. And the judge said, but Your Honor, yeah, I know. It was a 30-page motion. I gave it to him an hour before court. They were not happy campers.
Okay, listen, we are at the end of the show, and I did want to say I did find the statute in Texas. It's Article 45.023 in the Code of Criminal Procedure, defendant's plea, after the jury is impaneled or after the defendant has waived trial by jury, the defendant may plead guilty or not guilty, or enter a plea of nolo contendere, or enter the special plea of double jeopardy. And then furthermore, Article 45.024 says if the defendant refuses to plead, then the judge shall enter a plea of not guilty. If the defendant refuses to plead. Okay, so folks, the jury has to be impaneled, all right? And we'll talk some more about this, Eddie and I, on Monday. And I'm sorry, Mark, we can't finish your call. Rob from New Mexico, Renee from Texas, please call in tomorrow night for Randy's 4-hour info marathon. Thank you all. God bless, and good night.
Dangerous. Bibles for America is offering absolutely free a unique study Bible called the New Testament Recovery Version. The New Testament Recovery Version has over 9,000 footnotes that explain what the Bible says, verse by verse, helping you to know God and to know the meaning of life. Order your free copy today from Bibles for America. Call us toll-free at 888-551-0102 or visit us online at bfa.org. This translation is highly accurate, and it comes with over 13,000 cross-references, plus charts and maps and an outline for every book of the Bible. This is truly a Bible you can understand. To get your free copy of the New Testament Recovery Version, call us toll-free at 888-551-0102. That's 888-551-0102. Or visit us online at bfa.org.
You're listening to the Logos Radio Network at logosradionetwork.com.